And then there are invite scans. And as we said before, invite gets things to ring. Most of the times, to get a valid phone call, if you're calling a real phone, a hardware phone, or a software phone, you might need to provide it with a valid SIP URI. So you might need to provide it with the correct extension and so on. But it's not necessarily the case. So some phones will ring on any number. Whenever you send an invite to these phones, they will simply ring. And we can do our exploits, the exploit that I showed before, like the challenge response thing. We can simply get the phone to ring. But what we're probably more interested in is finding PBX servers or just proxies, which are open relays. So like in a SMTP, you used to have SMTP open relays. Well, apparently there's open relays in SIP as well. And there was some time during 2008 where someone started scanning German IP addresses, and well, I guess worldwide, but the Germans were the ones to complain most, at like 1 a.m. And people were starting to get phone calls on their Atlas installations or maybe on their phones, ADSL and so on. And they were complaining a lot on the forums. So there was this guy who wrote a paper analyzing this attack, and it was really simple. Whoever was doing this scanning, they were sending an invite message and probably searching for ways to make phone calls for free. And this got me interested. So I started working on a very small project really, VoIP Honeypot, which is a fake SIP registrar. It's a sort of a proxy too. Still needs much more functionality to really operate as a full PBX. But we have some examples of what people were scanning for through this research. So this is one of the first messages that I started noticing, especially since maybe the first people in the front can see Meucci solutions, and I was asking, who are these Meucci solutions guys? Even the from address in the from header says Meucci solutions, and it's an invite, and they were sending this. Well, whoever was sending it for different numbers. So you can notice that the address at the top changes. Okay. And these guys have a website, and they have something to do with the GSM forums, GSMA security group meeting, for example. And if you go on their website, if it's still the same, because this has been a while, you notice a link which says complaints. So apparently lots of people were contacting them, enough people so that they would set up a page about complaints, where people were getting phone calls on their voice over IP equipment, and this voice over IP equipment would say Meucci solutions. I tried to contact them because they provided an email address. I tried multiple email addresses really, but they never got back to me. So if anyone knows any of these guys, it would be good to see what's actually happening. I don't know if it's really them or not. They are saying that someone on their behalf was faking their name, and it's really easy to fake their name anyway. So Some other people decided to just configure their software phone to use my honeypot. Someone from Romania, I believe. So they just register. I had an extension with no password, so it's really easy to register with that one. And then tried to make some phone calls, but this was manual stuff because I could see from the timing that it's manually. But apart from this, I was getting a lot of automated scanning, especially in fight scans. Some attackers might have used suspicious. I saw other tools which are not available on the internet. So I'm always curious about other tools that I didn't try myself. And I started extracting numbers from these invite messages. So, and grouping them. So I put some of them in these slides from Romania. You'll notice that they use different prefixes mostly. So they are looping through different service providers. Most of the numbers are the same, except for the prefix. You have some hash as well, so that's interesting. And it's a fax number. So these guys, if they manage to get a phone ringing, they'll hear the fax machine sound. Also from China, very similar. I think it's the same tool. Something from France. Different tool, probably. Very ordered. And then there was an experiment by Wright, which is not really related to voice over IP, but in this case, I mean, it became related afterwards. In January, they started announcing 1.1.1/24. So previously, this IP address space was not taken. It was supposedly, most people assumed it was an example IP address space, so you could use it in your code. So these guys, they connected it to a 10 megabit port. I guess Wright can afford better than 10 megabit, but they only did 10 megabit.